What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the ZMAM show. And we're here to talk about Game of Thrones Season 8 finale.
Hmm.
God damn it.
Dumb, 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 dumb.
Dustin. Da, da, da,
It's so
da, da, da.
dumb. It's so
It's
dumb.
so
It's so
dumb,
dumb.
dumb. It's so dumb, dumb. I just can't believe. What have they done, Dustin?
I don't know.
We said that we would wait. We said we'd be patient. We said
We
we would
waited.
wait. We
We
waited.
waited.
We waited for you to give us the proper. I said this in my last two little my little blurbs. Give us a proper ending. What have you done?
Mm. It was
Jeez.
hard. It was hard to make it through this one for me because I mean,
I lost serious interest about. I I don't even know where I lost it. It was somewhere in there. It was ridiculous. That's what it was. I mean, oh
and I
god.
think I told you before we started streaming here. So overall, if you tell me the story of what happens in season 8, I'm fine with it. Like I get it. There were some
Okay.
surprises for me.
Now
It's
let's
the
hit.
way the story was told
That's right.
that
So let's hit on this before because we're gonna talk this whole episode, guys. You know our style. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get through it all. Just know this is not what we. Dustin and I were actually. I'm not saying we were loving the season. What we said is exactly what happened. It was rushed storytelling. And I don't want to hear anybody. Don't even bother starting in the comments talk about it's not storytelling. Yes, it is storytelling, guys. It was storytelling at the most extreme rush possible, whatever you want to call it. It was crazy. They to fit this kind of ending into 6 episodes is ludicrous.
yeah.
They were doing this so they could get on and start their Star Wars adventure. That's exactly what happened here.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about this later. We may get into this episode. We don't want to stream forever in a day, but Dustin and I may come back together a little bit later this week after we've had time to reflect on all this BS, talk a little bit more about it. But HBO even offered these clowns money out the wazoo. Dustin, you actually led me to that article. They offered
Oh,
them money.
did you find it?
I did find it. They
Yeah.
offered them money and said, do whatever you have to do to make this right. And they said, we're good. We'll give you 6. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I know that okay sign's no good these days, but fuck it. Whatever. Guys, what? Okay, so here we go. There's already comments flowing in. I know it's crazy. Some people, you might have loved this one tonight. There were some things that happened that were this and that, but let's just go ahead and get down to it, Dustin. So,
Yep.
Episode 6, the finale. This is what we all been waiting for. Tyrion walking through the ashes of King's Landing, followed closely by, well, not too closely, but followed by Jon and Davos. I saw them in the background, right?
Yep.
Grey Worm is still executing people in the streets, and I got to admit, this kind of pissed me off. I was angered. I was just like, so you've pretty much annihilated these people. You've destroyed all of Tyrion's people, family, everything else, and you can't let these few last prisoners go. You know,
Which this scene contradicts everything that he does later in the show. So obviously
Okay.
you're seeing Grey Worm. He's ruthless. He's killing people. You know, the soldiers that are left. That was his order. He's going to kill them. Which I'm bought into. I get it. Like they proved last episode that this is kind of who they were and what they were going to do. So this scene still worked for me. Like it was. I think it was good to lead in with still seeing all the destruction and kind of still
It
what's
did.
happening after
They showed the children on the ground, the
Yep,
people
yep.
starting. And by the way, thanks to everybody who came out tonight. I can already see names that we've been seeing for a while. OG, I saw Kathleen Barrett. That's my cousin out there. Jessica, welcome back. All you guys, come back. Stacy, welcome back. I think Esmarie, I think you were here last week. Welcome all of you. Just want to get that out there. Thank you for coming back to join us for this
Absolutely.
this funeral of whatever this thing is. So basically, we see that I guess Tyrion's trying to make his way probably to find Dany. I think he says I'm going to go in alone. This was also kind of interesting too because it seemed like Tyrion's going to go find Dany. I'll see you later, Jon. And then suddenly Jon's going to go find Dany. You know, it's like everybody's trying to find Dany, and I think Jon ends up finding her before Tyrion even does.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah, he does. He finds her at the top of the
Right,
like the stairs.
and that's
yeah.
not until after he finds his dead brother and sister.
Oh yeah.
I'm laughing. I mean, this is comical. So my wife was, God bless, she goes, is that even possible? The way they're laying there. I mean, wasn't he kind of crouched over her or hovering over kind of? And I'm just like, hey, semantics at this point, babe. I mean, we're just
Yeah, if this is the hardest thing for you to believe, then
then this is gonna be easy for you.
yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, Jessica's so mad at Grey Worm. I was so mad at them, so mad. I mean, so mad that I was just waiting for the moment. We're gonna get there. Get there. Hold on. So let me see here. So we see them. John marches past Dothraki. They're just getting after like a bunch of wild party boys. Right off their.
As Dothraki do.
As they do. I mean, like they've probably been drinking. Happy they murdered everybody. Arya watching from the side, marching.
Probably had some raping in there somewhere.
Hey, a little raping and pillaging. That makes a day good in the Dothraki world.
That's right.
I just got a text from Pell. I'm just gonna go ahead and read it out here. He was behind on watching. Just finished. Worst ending ever. Total horse. You know what? And I can't believe that Bran BS was real. Also, I waited for the Unsullied to board their ships and then pardon John. And it's oh god. And he even texted us the other day, and he was saying how horrible the season was, and I was still holding on. I was just like, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. They're gonna do it all right.
I was talking to someone at work, and I'm just like, I can kind of see where this is going somewhat. I just hope there's one last surprise. I just want to be surprised again somewhere. And
we got nothing.
No,
there was not any bit of anything. And the closure is a joke at best. She names... so hold on. So she makes Dothraki. So she appears in all black. I will admit, that was a pretty badass scene as she walks, and the dragon was lined up exactly with her as the wings kind of spread out. That was kind of cool. Okay, I'll give you that one.
There were some cool scenes in the episode.
There absolutely were cool scenes, but it just doesn't make up for the atrocity of what this episode and what ultimately this season, what it has done.
Just the amount of stuff that happened this episode should have been 4 episodes of content. Easily 4.
Fully agree with you. And let us know in the comments what you guys are feeling on this one. I mean, I see a lot of comments asking questions about what if. Well, clearly, guys, we know there was plenty of storyline that they just kind of trashed. They just said, it's not our main concern. We're just gonna tell you these main characters you've got to know. And by the way, but we're gonna rush it times 100.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Let me see here. Sorry, I'm trying to show comments. Sometimes, by the way, guys, just so you know, if you do curse and whatever in your comment, it gets held up for review. I'm going to try and allow most of them through, but I can't promise all of them will. Oh, my sister's What's up, James?
We can only handle so much cursing, guys.
Actually, honestly, you could get buck wild tonight because you are all merited.
You deserve it.
You deserve it. In fact, please have at it. I'm just going to have to keep jumping over and hitting show. I need to make Dustin the commentator so he can, or whatever, the juster, so he can do it too. John Donovan. Last half hour was like ROTK. Is that the last scene? Oh, wait, that must be the last scene. Oh, wait, there's more? I'm assuming he means Return of the King as in Lord of the Rings. And except Lord of the Rings definitely overdid it. And this one is just kind of like, I think we were already so disappointed. And here's the thing. People are mad. Dustin, let's talk about this right quick. People were really angry at what Daenerys did last episode because they feel it wasn't merited, wasn't warranted. I felt, I understand, although extremely rushed, I understood where the craziness came from. She basically lost everybody. She watched her best friend beheaded. She watched her dragons die. She watched her armies get obliterated by the dead. She's lost her lover, Jon, because she has no one. No one. And I think in that fit of rage, when she's looking on everybody, and everything that's going on, and she hears those bells, I think she just said, F this. This is my world, and you will feel my wrath. And so that's where I come from, guys. So if you don't agree, hey, comment on that. What do you think, Dustin?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that, again, it was so rushed that it didn't make a lot of sense how quickly and I guess I say quickly. It had been kind of brewing over the seasons, but
it was
They addressed it tonight with Tyrion. Even some of Dany's comments with Jon. Tyrion even said she freed the slaves and marines. She killed these counselors in Astapor because they were evil men, like they were evil men.
Right.
And now she's just murdered a bunch of women and children, and she still thinks that she's doing the right thing.
She's on that path to goodness.
She thinks that she's still like the savior of Westeros, and obviously she's not. So I'm totally on board with you. Again, I'm totally cool with where that turn went and kind of how her story went. It's just the pace of
speed, how
it happened. It's just not typical Game of Thrones fashion. Like you go back to previous seasons, and that's what I love about the show is you have
Took its time.
you have actions and you have all these consequences that they go through extreme detail to show you like what that means.
Yes.
And this season is just, as fast as they can get it done and wrap up the story. Like they just want to get out and make Star Wars, like you said.
It is. So she names Grey Worm the commander of her armies. Everything's going down, and I just put her notes. I bet she's lost it completely. She's looking to continue breaking the wheel. She's speaking in another language. John doesn't even know what the hell she's saying. Tyrion's picking up some of it. Davos is probably just like, oh, what the hell's going on?
And you kind of mentioned too the way the Dothraki were just kind of like hooting and hollering out there. It reminded me of season 1.
Yeah.
Kind of the way they acted in season 1, just savages and
bunch of cutthroats.
Just seemed like they were ready to do they could do anything, man. Like
there's a reason why the people of Westeros feared them in some ways. I mean, obviously they didn't fear them because they knew they couldn't cross the seas, or at least, well, they didn't think they could. But it was fully merited. Oh, mind you, that's the Dothraki army that was obliterated by the no, it wasn't. Yeah, wasn't obliterated.
They repopulated quick.
I guess that's a quick thing. They didn't get into that in the season. I put. So that's what freaked me out, and that's when I was just like, okay, she's done. When she starts talking about liberating more and more cities, and she mentions Winterfell on there, and I'm like, what? Hey,
time out. Hold on.
What's going on? What are you talking Winterfell? And what are you talking about? Some of them, maybe the other ones, I guess, still had issues, but so now I'm like, okay, she's gone. She feels like she's this ultimate power, and she's just going to pretty much murder anyone who even remotely doesn't decide. And she mentions that too, just moments from here, which we'll get to. I just want to mention, okay, oh my God, Tyrion, and thank you for calling her ass out and sticking true. Tyrion's like, I feel, the only character, or one of the only ones, I feel that truly stayed true to his character in this episode in ways, because he steps up, he takes that hand off his shirt, he tosses that, he doesn't even hand it, he just tosses it.
Tosses it down the stairs. That was a good moment.
And she comments to him something about, you betrayed me. He goes, yes, I freed a brother and you murdered a city. And I'm just like, thank you, Tyrion. Thank you. Because nobody else will stand up to her ass. And I'm always a big believer of that. Until you stand up to somebody and tell them straight to their face, bullies, this and that, they will never understand. And they may never change, but at least you are telling it to their face. But now, of course, that ultimately means his demise, right? So he's taken into custody, walks past Jon, gives him that look, and I'm just like, Tyrion, which, by the way, I don't know if you all saw the hashtag Save Tyrion. That's from my wife. That's her favorite character.
I like Jamie says, Vince says, Dany has a lot of her father in her. I agree, very rough storylines. I say Dany had a lot of her nephew in her, too.
Oh, and I see what you did there. Very nicely done, Vince. I know we're neglecting comments here. Let's see here. Yeah, Mike, when she mentioned Winterfell, Jon was like, I'm killing this. Yes, you're right, yeah. Stacey. I mean, I was just like, no. I don't know if everybody caught on to that, but when she was naming those cities, it's like, oh, just slip that one in there, I think she was talking almost too fast. She didn't really think what she was actually saying.
And I'm glad he finally did realize what he had to do, because I was really wondering that for a while. Like, dude.
Oh, you're talking Tyrion? You're talking Tyrion?
No, like talking Jon.
Okay, so we're almost there. So let me see here. Jon finds Arya. They talk. Well, actually, they don't find each other. She kind of just appears to his side, like, Jesus, don't sneak up on me like that, freaking assassin. But Arya comes to Jon. She knows a killer when she sees one. And you know what? And I'm going to say it again. I may have not have blurted out loudly because we weren't doing, unfortunately, our reviews so far back when seasons 2 and 3. But I talked about this, Dustin. I talked to Mappel and Bomberger a lot, and I said, I don't trust this woman. I don't trust her. I see a tyrant in the making, and that's what pretty much happened. It's when all that power comes to, it doesn't matter, woman, male, who you are, you get consumed by it, and you don't trust anybody because everybody's out to pretty much get you, and that was Daenerys's great downfall. Let me see here. So Jon finally finds Tyrion. They talk, and Tyrion, in more ways than not, is basically saying, you know what you need to do. Now, Dustin, I got to ask, did you feel, and also people chiming in, did you feel that Tyrion was saying, you know what you need to do, as in step up and be the king, or you know what you need to do, kill Dany before it's too late?
That's a good question. I thought initially it was step up and be the king, but after the events of the show and like toward the end, yes. I think he meant more of killing her. So
okay, yeah,
but initially when they were talking at first, that's what I thought he meant. Like, you need to step up and take the throne, basically. And take that as you will, I guess.
Absolutely. Did you, Stacy? She goes, not that much of her nephew. Did Torben say John had a small itty bitty problem? I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
I mean, compared to Tormund, maybe he has.
Oh yeah, Tormund. God, that man drinks
The blood of a
droves of
giant.
wine. I mean, Jesus Lord. Full review of the episode. I quote RuPaul. Man, I'm not sure, Jessica, what you're saying on that, but either way, yeah. Yeah, let's just keep going through it. So, John, let's see. So we find Arya, they talk. Find Tyrion, they talk. Basically, John, I think, kind of knows what he has to do, but we're not quite sure what. Because he keeps going back, he keeps defending her, and I think this is my biggest problem with John. This entire episode, I felt at no time he had any balls whatsoever. Excuse whatever my language of this and that, but don't you think? I mean,
yeah, until he finally did it. Yeah,
yeah. I just don't feel like he felt. I don't know what was it love? Was it the love that was stopping him?
I guess so. And he mentioned that. Yeah, because he even made the comment of what Maester Aemon had said. Love. What did he say? Love kills duty.
That's true. That's true. He did say that. I didn't get to write that down, but it's true.
I think he still loved Dany. It's just
he did, but I think he saw the monster she had become. I put Tyrion could be actually one of the wisest people on the show, although his decisions have not always helped. Daenerys, because I mean, let's face it, it's war, it's politics. I mean, it's hard to make every right choice, but he is so wise, just in his standing.
I feel like he's one of the most real because he does make mistakes.
Yes, that's true.
But yeah, I think he stayed within his character the whole time, even knowing that he's made a lot of mistakes, and that's kind of who he is.
Absolutely.
But he tries to learn from that.
Tyrion basically asking Jon to step it up, so we talked about that. And and his last warning to Jon and his sisters. So this is just before Jon's going to go talk to Dany, but he brings up the big one. What about Sansa and Arya? They will never bend the knee. And Jon says they'll follow I guess whoever the ruler is, I guess, at the time, and that's not true. I think he even knows it's not true. He's just spitting it out, Let's see if we get any comments right here. You see anything you want to comment on real quick?
Let me look here.
Jon always felt like a character with charisma, but no conviction. Jon, agreed, totally. Yeah, see, Tyrion can keep making mistakes and being forgiven, but Dany can't.
I mean, she made a pretty big mistake.
That was a big mistake, dude. I mean, the ultimate. I mean, did you forgive her? I mean, it's a good question. I'm not saying you're crazy for doing it. It's just a good question. Stacy said, I got it, Jess. Oh, sorry. When we're trying to go back and forth, guys, it is a little hard to keep track. So sorry about that. BBQing thousands of innocent children isn't a mistake.
Yeah,
that's totally.
That's pretty severe.
I don't know your last name, but hey, I fully agree with you. Holy, that makes total sense. Beyond a mistake, and thank you for putting that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's beyond a mistake. So let's start getting down to it. So, how about that scene when the dragon woke up outside of the keep before Jon enters? I thought that was interesting. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot to it in substance, but I mean, he just kind of looked up, kind of leaned in, and then he kind of
like, oh, it's just Jon. I'm gonna go back.
And I think that was kind of an inkling of what was to come.
Yeah,
we're about to see. So, Dany approaches her.
Was that snow? Was that snow or ash that was falling?
I'm gonna go with both.
It looked like snow in quite a few scenes, like especially when they got really close up. It looked like snowflakes.
I agree.
But then a little later, it's like all sunny again. So
I know. So I guess they were trying to make it seem as ash, but you're right. Snow has kind of that distinct, just white snow. Ash has got that grayish. And it was interesting, right? But so Dany approaches her iron throne, nearly destroyed. I mean, literally almost everything else around it just taken down. But hey, no bricks on the throne, so that's good news.
And that was pretty close to what she had seen in her vision, right?
Yeah, or not a vision. Excuse me, vision. What? Oh, that was a long time ago too. I don't remember the season though. Do you remember? Or I mean,
it was like season 2.
So way early. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But I remember that too when I was watching that scene. So I basically said to myself, "Are you happy, Queen of Ashes?" Which I'm not sure who first started Queen of Ashes, but quite fitting, I do believe, and I think she would continue to be too if she were haven't given the chance to move on. So Jon and Dany start to get into their conversation. Jon calls her out about the children burning, and when she first steps down, Dustin, and she's just like that little, I don't know, starry-eyed girl, like everything's so wonderful and this and that. And Jon's like, "You have murdered babies and children and women.
Yeah, she looked like a crazy ex-girlfriend in that whole scene. Like her
Right?
eyes, like her like just bugged out eyes and just smiling the
Yes.
whole time.
And so kudos to the actors and actresses in this show tonight because
For sure.
they did the job that they were tasked to do.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure fully against their senses. You know, I mean, we have already seen the videos out there of John and everything.
Yeah.
Anyways, so okay, hold on. So John pleads with her to stop the executions and everything else. Pretty much, he breaks down, and I think it's at that point he's just like, I realize she's never going to stop, and she keeps saying, she says, ask him to build a new world with her and that nobody else gets to choose. Anybody else who thinks they're right, nobody else gets to choose. I mean, is that not the words of a dictatorship, a tyrant, whatever else you want to call it? And so, MC, any last comments before we jump right into what I know what you guys are going to say? John didn't fight with honor. He stuck in the throne room and snuck his silhouette through Danny with embracing her.
I mean, to me, I felt like this kind of references back to Jaime Lannister and the Kingslayer. Like,
he is pretty much
he's the Queenslayer.
He's the Queenslayer.
He didn't stab her in the back, but
so they embrace. We're watching it go out, and I'm like, they're not gonna. Is this really? And he does, and just as quick as a turn of the head, the ending of almost 10 years of character development and a quest for queenship is over. Yep. Just like that. How did you feel? How did you feel when you saw that go down? What were your initial thoughts?
I liked that scene.
I did too.
It did kind of surprise me that he actually did it, you know, while he's like mid kiss. My wife kind of gasped when it happened. So even though I knew it was coming, I was still just surprised though. Like it was surprising.
It was surprising.
I liked it. I liked that scene. I liked him doing it. Everything that happened after that, I was just like totally confused. But
I'm gonna pull a little Star Wars. Like when I saw it, I mean, because Steph kind of goes, "What do you think? You know, what are you thinking?" Because I think she saw like I just had that look, kind of like okay, but no, but okay. And I was like, it's if millions of voices cried out in anger and then were silenced. I mean, I just sat there. I go, okay, I get it. I see what's going down. People are going to effing riot. I mean, I felt it's so quick, guys. This is just too fast. Storytelling too fast.
Yep.
Grab a comment for me, will you, Dustin? While you're kind of looking.
I'll take this comment from Connor. He says, also, did anyone watch the video about Littlefinger being alive? Because that not being true also is maddening considering there was a short little scene about it. I agree, man. I agree, Connor. Littlefinger should have came back. He should have been the one to stab Danny.
OG is gonna literally track us down. And he already told us last week. Forget the Littlefinger.
Oh, that's what when I say I was wanting a surprise. That's what I was holding on for, guys. I was still holding on for Littlefinger to come back.
I mean, any of the fan theories. I mean, if it was by accident. I mean, just and whatever. Let me see here. Jamie's like, ding dong, the witch is dead. I assume you mean Daenerys there, sis. The only emotional part in the episode was when the Starks are having their powwow. Yeah, and if even it was really that emotional, I got to be honest, I wasn't feeling that true connectedness, whatever, between it. That's how were you feeling when you were seeing some of the interactions after Dany had fallen?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see a whole lot of emotion. The Stark send-off was... I think it was emotional, but I think that's because the actors are so close in real life. I really feel like that was, real emotion just from them, like knowing that the season's over and they're wrapping.
Yeah.
I think that came through. But
yes, he said for you, Dustin, Littlefinger lives on through Sansa.
That's right.
It was all predictable, Connor. I cannot disagree. I mean, even though, you could easily guess what was going to happen, and that is not George R.R. Martin's writing, okay? And that is clearly where these two, Weiss and Benioff, they are not superb writers, guys, okay? They worked off a material that was written, that had a superb story. Superb. One of the best stories written in years. And they ran out of material, and they're like, well, we're going to have to wing the hell out of this one.
Yeah, I think Martin gave him the end.
Yeah,
but he didn't give him how to get there, and that's what they needed. They really needed a better way of getting there. And
they need to connect.
I think that's something Martin can do, and hopefully will do in the books. But
yeah, I'm not a reader, but I'm gonna have to become one because I gotta feel the real story, and this unfortunately just is not it. So he stabs her. Yes, he stabs her, and then Drogon, right? That's okay. So I put that him and John have a little moment, right? So he kind of comes in, kind of like a little puppy, kind of looking at her dead body, and I'm just looking at her too. I'm just like, and let's before I get into Drogon, that look on Dany's face as she's staring up at him. What do you think? What do you think is going through her mind? Like, I loved you, or I can't believe I let you win, or I don't know.
All of that, I think, just above. How could you do this? I thought you were on board with me. I thought I was your queen.
And even as much as I had learned to kind of hate Dany over the last episode or so, I mean, even I'm just kind of like, God, I feel like there's just injustices done, I think, to her character in some ways,
Yeah.
Like, I felt she was leaning towards this way, but I feel like someone did mention earlier, and I'm sorry I forgot the name, but like, so she can't be forgiven. I get it. It's a huge mistake. It's past a mistake, but part of me was just like, wow, this just feels so, I don't know, unsettling. And I think that's the word I'll use. But Drogon, yeah, when he gets in there and nudges her and then looks back to Jon, I was like, oh my God, is he gonna burn Jon? Which, mind you,
I wanted him to. I wanted him to burn Jon, and
we both talked about that.
Yeah,
we said try to burn Jon and then have him not actually burn, and then be like, okay, I'm gonna ride you now, and off you go.
Right.
But instead, Drogon pretty much has that furious moment where and actually I think it finally gave some context to the dragons a little bit more, and just that they have really have feelings, and it knew exactly what was happening, and it burned everything around him, including the Iron Throne, down to just nothing but a few nubs of metal. And I feel like it was just that moment, like, I want to murder you so bad, but because of respect of who you are in your blood, I will not,
Yeah, so this was I like the throne melting. Did he do that on purpose? Like, was he melting the throne on purpose, or was he just upset and just like letting it out?
Most of me wants to say he was just letting it out, whatever. But I gotta admit, though, he was being deliberate where he was hitting, and then suddenly he just aimed, and he just did not stop on it. And it's, like I said, it's almost like they knew. So this.
Yeah, are they saying that like he's cognizant enough to know that like the throne is pretty much what drove her?Maybe
not enough clarity to what the humans have, but maybe something on another level, like the instinct or whatever. Make sure you guys comment on this. Obviously, we are all authorities in dragon lore and literature, so we should definitely be able to come in with a solid answer, I do believe. Stacey used to ride the dragons, I think, at one point. So dragons are very smart. Drogon knew the throne, killed Dany, and melted it. Yeah, I'm leaning towards that one big time.
That's what it seemed like. That's what they made us believe there. That's what I was kind of thinking.
Steph, my wife, she says the dragon knew the chase for the throne killed Dany. Well, yeah. I agree.
Okay. Sounds like everybody's on board with that.
Yeah, OG, I did it on purpose. Dragons are very clever creatures. So yeah, I think okay. So great. We're all great dragon lore tellers. Sorry, guys. It's good times. It's a shame. As this episode, if you haven't gotten some of our sarcasm along the way, this was a cluster. It's disappointing. I never watched Lost, okay, and I actually never saw Sopranos.
I didn't either.
So I cannot speak to those endings and how clustered those were, but I have a feeling this ranks up there, if not maybe the worst, probably. It's just they made some big mistakes here. That counts.
I think now we're moving into. I want to talk about this, right?
You want to talk about the council?
Like, yeah. So we moved straight from Jon almost getting burned to Drogon picking up Dany and flying away.
He flies off past the waters, mind you, not further into Westeros. She goes.
Yep.
I think they say he went west. I think. West.
So he had to have gone east because the water is to the east of King's Landing.
Good point.
You looked on the map, so he flew east somewhere, and somebody said probably flew to Valyria. I read that. Somebody just said that. Sorry, I don't know who said that. I just read it though. Probably, somewhere over there.
So the council's together. Tyrion and Jon are currently prisoners, except we only get to see Tyrion. Grey Worm walks them up to the council. The council consists of everything from the Iron Islands to who's the goofy kid, Lysa's son?
Robin.
Robin.
Who's like super grown up and seemed very normal.
I guess
was
he
weird.
Finally decided to stop being a weirdo. So, hey, good for you, bud. And I
was so confused right here. Like, I'm like, what the hell
Yeah, go ahead.
like what's going on? Like what's happening? It took me a minute to like really understand. Oh, it's so they're in King's Landing. It's
Right.
sunny now. It was again. I thought it was just all snowing, like the
Yeah.
last scene.
Yeah.
It's been a few weeks, I guess.
Maybe.
I think there was something back in an earlier season that said it takes about a month to get from like Winterfell to King's Landing.
Okay.
I don't remember. I don't know if that's really accurate or not, but I'm thinking it had to be at least 3 weeks for them to all get down there. And this is where it just started to spiral for me. Like I couldn't believe it anymore. Like I just couldn't like keep up. And this is where I was just like, okay, I think I'm done.
Hey, Jessica wrote, Dragon Lords of ZMAM, of the Kingdom of YouTube, first of their names. Yes. Thank you for that, Jess. Thank you. That was awesome. But yeah, so the council, sorry, not to hit off of it, but so yeah, the council, they're coming together, and yeah, we're a little confused because it's like, they're talking about this and that, and Graham like, shut up, and if you say another word, but yet Tyrion decides to keep talking, and I'm like, why hasn't Grey Worm pretty much sliced his head off? So Tyrion decides to go on a rant pretty much about this and that, and you gotta love how was it Sansa's uncle? Is that what was gathering that one? I didn't even remember who that guy was.
Edmure. So that's Edmure Tully. So that was Catelyn's brother. He's the one that got captured at River Run, and Jaime had to go back and try to save him.
Okay.
And he was also at the Red Wedding. He was the one at the Red Wedding who got married.
Okay.
Right? He was the one who got married, and they took up to the room, and then after that, they slaughtered everyone.
Got it. Oh, that's right. Good call, Dustin. Thank you for that, and our viewers as well. But yeah, Sansa's just like, just sit down. Just sit, and that was pretty good, actually. Sansa, if you ever go back and look at any of the footage of her as a young, I mean, her story has really matured her into a woman, and I thought that was pretty cool. But but they're basically deciding who, basically Tyrion says in a nutshell, you guys choose who will be the king. And I'm just like, wait a second. Jon's the king. I'm like, just because he stabbed Daenerys, by the way, a mad woman, and probably would have murdered many more, whether they were just or not just. I mean, how did we just go from Jon to like, well, we won't worry about that?
Yeah, and it's like none of this made sense. Like, so you have a prisoner, you're allowing him to take control of the meeting.
He pretty much led the meeting.
You haven't, first of all, you haven't even killed him. Like, and back to our thoughts on the beginning of the episode.
Right.
You've got Grey Worm slaughtering soldiers in the street. Yet he's hold Tyrion and Jon captive for a month now.
How did he not kill Jon? He was willing to slice throats on the spot. Not to mention, I don't even think he really liked Jon anyways.
Well, you could see the tension in the episode already. Jon grabbed his arm, like the looks they gave each other.
Went up. Ooh,
there's no way Jon would still be alive. No way.
No. Sorry, I gotta put a plus on one of Stacey's comments. She's getting crazy out here. Let's see, what else we got out here? Holy, it's like I can continue going poking holes through this soggy Kleenex we call the plot of this tragic thing we call a TV show. Well, I mean, all day long you pretty much can. Holy, Donovan Edmure was useless. He got captured. He was using his leverage to get the Blackfish out of River Run, and he thinks he'll be king. Well, of course he does, Jon. I mean, the dude's a total tool. I mean, he just, he's like, well, nobody else is speaking, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll handle this, right? Jessica Monsieur, yes, the claim was his, but Tyrion was very Tyrion, and he went back to being clever. No doubt. It felt odd, right? Let's just leave it at that. So, Sam gives the wonderful idea. Let's let the people choose, and and then they all start. I don't know. As funny as it just felt so goddamn awkward. I was just like, well, okay.
It was weird. That was a funny. I laughed though when they started kind of laughing. They're like, yeah, we're gonna let our horses.
I'll let my dog have a vote. Of course, the leaders are gonna be like, are you out of your effing? This is not a democracy, right? But thanks, Sam, for trying. Future Grand Maester. No spoiler. So let me see here. So, and in the end, let's just get straight to it. Tyrion offers it to Bran. Bran the Broken, right?
Bran the Broken.
Yes. And what did you think about this? Because I'll tell you, Steph, she was just livid.
It doesn't make any damn sense. Like he spent this whole last 3 or 4 seasons being something else.
Right.
He's something else now. He's not Bran anymore.
Right.
He doesn't want
care
humanly worldly things. And I know the Night King's dead now, so does that change all of a sudden? And now he's like, yeah, okay, cool, I'll be king now.
And he makes the comment. He goes, what do you think I traveled all the way here for? I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So what? You're telling me that you foreshadowed this? You saw this now?
Yeah.
Which again, no context, nothing, because there's no time. We've had no filler in between.
And then what about his reasoning? He's like, so Tyrion's like, what makes a great king? You have, banners, you have warriors. I think a great king needs to tell a good story. And it's like, what the hell are you talking about?
A good story. Yeah.
How does that make a good
My
king?
grandma used to tell yarns about, it's like, what? God, tell me, people, tell me that. Hold on, we gotta go back. Let's go to comments for a second. Hold on, because the people, I know they're. Bran is the king in the north, eldest son of Ned Stark. That's how you keep the kingdom together. That's Jon. The three-eyed raven, who says he wants nothing. Oh, he says he wants anything. And he's no longer human. Exactly. Yeah. Bran the Broken, my heart the broken. Oh my God, please, from Jess. Yes, when Bran told Tyrion about his wheelchair, that is the same as Daemon Targaryen made for his. Is it Rhaenyra? Oh, I forget the name. But anyways, it's the same story that he was told by Shireen to Davos. Was this foreshadowing this? Interesting. I don't know. But yeah, let's just say I just sat there just kind of in awe. I just kind of sat there this is happening. He can't have children. He can't have, I guess he can have a wife if he wants, but, and then they're saying, oh, that's the best kind, then your children won't screw it up. Okay, yeah, that could be argued that pretty much that most king, queen, their children are a bunch of brats, spoiled brats. They never learn anything, and they end up becoming a-holes. Except the Starks kind of turned out all right. So, it's not impossible to imagine. Right. I just said I'm surprised.
John says old Nan for king. She tells the best stories. That's right. She should have been.
Oh, Nan. Where is she? She's probably dead. She's gone now.
Yeah.
Better story than Jon. I thought he was saying that about Jon. Jessica. Oh, well, I don't know. Mira Reed for Queen from Donovan. Anyways, so what did he say?
We never saw the Reeds again, did we?
No, we didn't. And I know a lot of people have been asking about them. They were asking about it last episode too. OG said once he was crowned king, Bran started talking again.
Yeah, he just went silent because he wanted the throne.
He's like, if you guys would just let me be a king, I'll tell you everything you want to know and what we can do. No doubt he could look back pretty much to everything and be like, nope, bad move. I'm not going to do that. Or okay, so maybe he has some leverage here. But geez, criminy. Okay, so this comes to pass. All hail Bran the Broken. Woo! Good God. But Sansa does not hail Bran and says, Bran, I love you. You're my brother. But the North will stay separate as has for years. Again, this feels very... we knew this was going to happen pretty much. And by the way, what's your brother going to say? No, I'm going to kill you now. Of course he just nods.
Send you to death.
Jesus, that was the easiest slam dunk in the history of slam dunks. Hey, you want to negotiate for some shit? Make sure your youngest brother or sister is in that spot and that you treated them well throughout their lives. Good Lord, people. Oh,
hey,
God.
you give me the North to myself, or I'm going to roll you down this damn hill.
I could still take that wheelchair from you, asshole. Bran offers Tyrion the hand, and he finally accepts it. After no, my lord, my liege, Again, I love Tyrion. Don't get me wrong. I was just like, man, this prisoner just taking over the story. This is pretty good. And anyways, Jon is to be sent to the North to the Night's Watch, right? He's to Castle Black, right?
To Castle Black. Which
what
the hell's the point of Castle Black anymore?
To have no wife, no children, and to live out his days. Okay, so here is my question to you all. Let's take a half second and let's reflect on this. Okay, and I know you already have probably. How does it come to be that Jon, this man we have watched for so long, with an epic storyline, all these episodes come together, can go from being nothing to being the heir to the throne of the world, and then back to absolutely nothing? Pretty much.
Yeah.
So take that moment of silence for you all to just comment on that one. Okay.
Which I'm cool with, even Jon's arc and where it went. That's cool. But I don't understand the whole point of the Night's Watch anymore. The Wildlings pretty much came together with everyone up north to fight the White Walkers.
Mind you, they were supposed to be
really
gone.
A threat. And Jon already kind of has the support of the Wildlings anyway.
Yes.
So what's the threat? What's the point of the wall now? What's the point of the Night's Watch? And I guess you still have. I think Tyrion kind of made some comments about you need a place for bastards and broken things or whatever.
But what's the point of all this? It's so rough. I got to go back to comments here. I saw a couple coming through that looked pretty good. I just give him
Appel said, even Hodor is saying, "I died for for this shit."
Oh, Mike sound good. I didn't know if he was gonna get to make it out tonight.
I agree.
R.I.P. Hodor. Yeah, and then True Michael, you got a shout out from Jess. Let me see here. Yes, he said, I just give him this, a king who can see the history and learn from his lessons from it. Yeah, that's interesting. I laughed out loud when they sent him to the wall. It's just like, what?
Yeah, it's like,
what?
Okay.
Bran the Broken
Sure.
Stark, thrown out of a window, journeyed beyond the wall. I can't even finish it. Got raped by a bird tree. I can't. I'm
That's
sorry.
awesome. Yeah.
You guys read the comment. I can't.
Let's talk about that. What the hell did Bran even do? What did Bran ever really do? He got pushed out of a tower. Everybody pretty much saved him from that point and took him wherever he needed to go.
Oh, this is true. I mean, he was useless. His purpose was telling. Well, but wait, there's no purpose. He told Jon.
What did he ever really do?
You know what? It could be argued, Dustin, that the reason all this shit kind of went, not all of it, but a good portion, is because Bran actually did tell Jon, and all them, that basically that he was heir to the throne. If that wouldn't have happened, this might have gone a whole nother way. Did he plan this?
He orchestrated the whole.
Did he orchestrate this shit?
Yep.
Guys.
Bran is actually Littlefinger. Littlefinger is a faceless man. He killed Bran, the real Bran, took his face,
and he's just rolling around.
Dude, that's what I'm going with.
Dude, at the very end, it should have shown.
Can't change my mind.
When they wheeled Bran out of the room, which we'll get to that just hot second. When he wheeled him out, and all of a sudden they wheel him maybe into another room, and he just kind of goes, "Chaos is a ladder."
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys aren't changing. You're not changing my mind on that.
Oh my god, it's so great. Let me see here. What else? Well, yeah, let's just finish off the episode because
that changes my rating of the episode too. By the way, such a good episode now.
Yeah, if it could have happened. God, I put Bronn gets his high garden. I was just like, oh, thanks for coming back for a hot minute. I mean, what?
Right, I know.
Good lord, wasted. Davos is master of the ships. I mean, I like Davos. I mean, hey,
I do too.
Congratulations, Davos. Sam gets Grand Maester, well deserved. He will prove to be a great Maester, no doubt. The scene backs out as they're basically all just sitting there discussing the future, small, not bickering, but just kind of bantering, I call it, back and forth about this and that. And Bronn talking about brothels being rebuilt and whatever. I'm like, yeah, maybe with the 1,000 people you have left in the city, I'm sure you guys will have this thing built by the time pretty much all of you are dead. So, good luck with that. Yeah, it's good.
This whole scene, I laughed at this scene, especially so Tyrion arranged all the chairs perfectly, and they came in and just scooted them all over the place. I was cracking up. Mm-hmm. This felt like a, and I watched something right after the show. I don't remember who it was. Somebody said something like it was like an office comedy. Mm-hmm. We have a new boss.
He's coming in.
He doesn't talk much, but we've got to try to impress him.
And not to mention, he came in and then he left almost immediately. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I guess.
He said maybe I could find Drogon, is what he said. He's like, maybe I could try to find him, and then he left.
And again, it's okay. For no closure on that whatsoever. Where did they take Danny? Damn it, Dustin. What in the hell did we just watch? And yes, my voice did just raise probably 8 decibels, what higher than it should. What in the hell did we just watch, everybody? Damn it. Oh my god. I can't handle it. Jon arrives back at Castle Black. Sansa, Jon, and Arya, they do some quick moves with the camera work to show suiting up pretty much almost like the Avengers are pretty much about to go to battle. And it's pretty much the three of them pretty much getting ready to go for their new roles and their adventures. So Arya sails off to the Neverlands or whatever. She'll see what's out there. Sansa gets her Queen of the North. As many swords are raised, really there should probably only be about 5 guys in that crowd because everybody else should be probably dead. If not burned or not turned into a dead walker. Yeah, or white, whatever. Yeah, that's that. And then Jon meets back up with Ghost. Hey, but at least they got to rekindle, and they get that back going. But tell me this, Dustin. If he was sent back up north to Castle Black to join the Night's Watch, then we see him just walking out of the gates with his wildlings. So was he just like, peace, guys,
He's breaking his oath and...
I got a thing, and none of them tried to stop him, or it was just kind of like, hey, it's Jon. He's he's really Aegon Targaryen. Don't mess with him.
Just let him go.
Let him go. He's got the long claw. I mean, not down there, but he's got the long claw.
The sword.
The sword, mind you. I mean, what?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I think Arya's story could be interesting. Like I think I told you, they're working on some spinoffs. I think only one's really been confirmed, but I'm sure that Arya's going to have a spinoff. If Maisie Williams wants to do it.
Yeah, somebody was
I
talking.
don't know, she may be done, but
there were 5 total. Supposedly 3 have been seriously discussed. Obviously, we've got the one that's actually about. I think they're already filming. That's that 5,000 year ago one, which actually sounds like a great story. Let's get it going. Please get different writers, and please make sure they're competent and that they have actually works to back that work up. I finally did a research on those 2. They don't really have an impressive resume before this, and they had the nerve to. So, did you hear about the petition?
Yeah.
Okay. So at the time I had read it, it was at 500,000, which I thought was quite impressive, mind you. And because I think that was even more than Star Wars even ever got.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong on that, by the way. I'm totally talking out my ass. But then I went out just to take a look. I wasn't going to sign it, but I went to look. It was up to 1 million. 1,025,639 to be exact. And I was like, wow. So, I mean, that's only, I did the math of out of 18.4 million viewers, which this episode probably broke that even more. Yeah. I mean, that's about 5-6% of your audience. And again, that's not enough merited, I think, you'd have to have 10 million views. And even then, and that's the thing, guys, even if they had it, they're not going to redo it. Do you know how much money they spent to even work out these 6 episodes?
It was, I read an article on that too, by the way. So it was early episodes of Game of Thrones. They were saying it was like $8 million per episode to produce. Mm-hmm. This last season was up to $15 million per episode.
I mean, that's legit. That is legit. Let's get back to comments. I know we've gone on. I mean, that was pretty much the episode, guys. So let's just talk through some comments to each other and see if we can, console each other. And funny enough, Donovan knows this. Technically, I'm supposed to be a consoler. Being able to talk people down. I need to be talked back down. Please, people, help me out or raise me further. But one or the other, we got to figure something out here. So. Let's get back to it. I know we've missed so many. I'm sorry, guys. There's just too much nastiness in this episode. I'm glad you guys are talking, though, and getting this going. What do we got, Dustin? You see anything good?
Stacy says, Dustin, Dany isn't dead either. She's a faceless man who faked her death. She told Drogon to take her to be with your true love, Littlefinger.
Oh, my God.
Okay. I would take that, too, Stacy.
We might as well go with it. Let me see here. Hollywood petitions are infuriating. Yeah, they are. It's just like, get over it. I mean, and I think that was our whole point while we were heading up to this one. The angered. I was almost going to do a video. I was this close, and then I just decided not to do it. I was going to talk about, so apparently everybody hates Game of Thrones, and I was going to talk about things that, of course, I dislike, but not that I hated it. And even as I talk right now, guys, I'm not saying I hated the episode. I mean, I guess it's the story. It's the story we've been handed. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I always tell my friends, no, this is not our story. This is their story. We're just there to enjoy it. But I know people, they can argue that to the end of time. But I was really hoping these guys could pull it together. And they just rushed the hell out of it. And that's just it. And maybe they are competent writers, but they decided to rush. And for that, I think they should be reamed for it. I really do think they should be. That was their choice, and a poor decision at that.
Yep, and so I think we were pretty optimistic throughout the season. I think we were both kind of waiting for a bigger payoff, and we were being patient for that.
Yes.
Not really getting that, for me, brings the season down by quite a few notches, I think, overall. I enjoyed it. And like I said before, the whole story, if you look at it from a 10,000-foot view, I'm fine with where the story went and how it ended and kind of what took place. I'm frustrated with how much they just compressed everything, and now you're jumping from here to here to here, and these things are happening so fast and they don't make any sense, and you don't get to see what we used to see from Game of Thrones. Like, that's why I love the show, is you've got all these other little moments in between these bigger moments that show you like the impact of what's happening, and get to know how characters are dealing with certain things, and like now you don't get any of that. It's just
Holy said a 2-year rush. Well, I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, and by the way, I know
given what they just produced in terms of story, it was definitely rushed.
It was, and I mean, and clearly what they have to. writing something on paper and then making it alive on film, I already know, as trying to do my own stuff, it is a billion times harder, okay? And so what they tried to do cinematically, even with this season, was super ambitious. Even I've even heard comments from some of the directors say, like, why did I take this job again?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
But again, that doesn't excuse them from just making some poor decisions on taking an ending and squeezing it into the smallest amount of time you've done the entire surmounting of the show. And then, so, let me see here. What else? Yes, couldn't they just put Bran in the council instead of embarrassing themselves? I would have been fine with it. Hell, I would have been fine if they just would have said, "Hey, Sansa, what's up? You wanna work this out?" Of course, she probably just would have said, "No, I'm good with the North. You guys do whatever you want." Worst part was listening to the dialogue from the earlier seasons and realizing how far they strayed away from the true GOT, Connor. I agreed. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. See here. Stacy agrees. Please don't ruin Star Wars. Oh, Jesus Lord. Hey, get ready for the pain train, bud. That's all I'm going to say. Get ready.
I don't know. I don't know what project they're doing. I don't know if there are any details yet on their Star Wars project.
The rumor was Knights of the Old Republic of some sort, or Old Republic in general. So it's pretty much the days, I think, before even the Jedi existed. But again, we won't stray too far, but that's what I heard. That could mean nothing. I also heard Ryan Johnson's shit might have been squashed. So, hey, thumbs up on that one. Just to get that dude onto something else. Maybe you can do the next Indiana Jones movie or something. I don't know. Let's see here. Jessica, it's like being engaged to somebody just to see 8 years after you married his yoga instructor. It is so heartbreaking. And I think that's what I was sitting there too. I mean, I didn't have that excitement in my heart or in my body that I felt when I watched the Battle of Winterfell or even last week's episode. I felt this kind of just heavy weight just laying on me, and I felt we have closure, but yet why do I feel like there's no closure? Does that sound stupid? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
But guys, so I mean, the things we have to look forward to in the future, we have some possible spin-off shows, which I'm sure HBO will be ready to make some money off of. I'm sure they will be great. I think they're gonna listen to the feedback of the fans. No, they will not rewrite anything, nor will they reshoot anything for season 8. But they will absolutely learn from this, and they're trust me when I say. I can almost say this with 100% certainty. This will not happen again with the Game of Thrones. This will not happen again with Game of Thrones. They will, if anything, they will overdo it. And it's going to be like John said. It's going to be like, Jesus Lord, will you please just end this show before I hurt myself?
So let's talk about the one spinoff we know about. Okay. I think they're calling it The Long Night. I'm definitely down for this.
Yeah.
So it happens like 5,000 or more years before Game of Thrones.
Sure.
It talks about kind of the first conflict with the White Walkers and the humans. I read an article just a few minutes ago that said that some of the main characters that will be in the show, like Bran the Builder, will be there. So it's going to talk about like how the Stark House was formed. I don't remember the guy's name. Lan the Clever, I think, is who kind of formed the Lannister house, and I think he was going to be a character.
That's interesting.
It mentioned Azor Ahai, which we've definitely heard of the prophecies of Azor Ahai, and it talks about kind of fighting back the White Walkers. But here's where I'm so confused and why I wanted Game of Thrones to resolve this for me, but maybe this spinoff will, and that's probably why they made it, so they could keep something going. This is exactly
why they didn't. They didn't want to overdo it.
But I'm like, still in my head, I'm thinking, if they defeated the White Walkers 5,000 years ago, then how did they come back? Or if they didn't kill them, why were they just chilling north of the wall for 5,000 years and then finally decide to come back? And so part of me was thinking, well, maybe it was the dragons when they, were reborn. That's what made them come back. But they were in the very first episode of the first season. Like they were already killing people and building their army. So it wasn't anything to do with the dragons.
I'm thinking again, who really knows, but is it possible that the Night King is calculated? I mean, clearly, he was not stupid in any ways, or, he's very calculated. And maybe at one point they were just completely losing and just realized, if I don't pull back, I will lose everything. Just like any other war or something like that. How that went down and who knows what. Again, maybe Azor Ahai ran out there with his shiny sword and started ripping them to pieces. Who knows what? But I mean, there had to be more than just that sword to drive him back. So again, things was for speculation, but it'll be very interesting to see. Actually, absolutely, I'm going to be on board. I mean, just because season 8 was rough, that doesn't write off Game of Thrones as an epic fail or this or that. It's just it's a story that was wonderful and that they made some poor decisions towards the end, and I think that's a great way to sum it up.
Yeah,
for a lot of us. See here, what other comments we have going on here? You guys are going crazy over here. See here, OG was saying, that's how I took it, Michael. I'm just confused on whether he left with the Wildlings or will he stay at Castle Black. So OG, if you're going all the way back to Judge John, he definitely left. I mean, they're gone.
Yeah,
they're going far north as possible. John will live out his days, and who knows? Maybe they'll bring him back in some teaser thing. Maybe he gets his own little problems up north. I mean, who knows what else is up there, right? But we saw damn giants. That was crazy enough. Let me see here. Night King was robotic. Holy says, purposed by the witches. Let me see here. That made him. Well, except that robot kind of went out of control and started killing anybody and everybody. Remember, it killed the children and it killed men. So then they had to work together to drive it back because the children wanted humans dead and humans vice versa. And then they're like, oh, shit, this thing is actually killing all of us. So I guess we better work together. Am I wrong on that, Dustin? I think that's right. Right?
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's see here, Jessica. At least we get something about Azor High and all the predictions. Yeah, agreed. I mean, yeah. And I think the way you said that, Dustin, it makes me immediately like that aha, like that's why they didn't give us any more than probably what we absolutely
right. They could make a whole nother franchise out of it and keep making money. So.
And in fact, it may be strictly, I mean, truly and strictly about, I mean, a good half this, the episodes could be about just the White Walker threat. And let's face it, that could get old after a while, as some people watch Walking Dead and have lost interest over time. They don't want that problem, so they're trying to keep it a little bit under wraps. What else? If he left with the Wildlings, I can live with John living out his life with them at peace. Well deserved. I agree, OG. I mean, like I said, John will get some bit of peace, and I think you kind of saw that. He didn't give that little smirk smile that I was almost kind of hoping he would give towards the camera as they had that last shot on him as he was on his horse, Dustin. But yeah. he kind of just looked forward, and it just kind of that looked like, this is my destiny, and this is where I'm going. And that's good for John. I think he's where he wants to be. And this kind of disappoints me a bit because I was hoping John would aspire to be that leader. Take that throne. Take the reins, man. You can do it. I mean, it's something to say about having faith in yourself and having, oh, God, what am I trying to say? Not charisma, but...
confidence?
The confidence. Have confidence in yourself, man. You've already shown us for so many different, episodes. Why stop now?
I mean, I'd say his girlfriend Ygritte kept telling him he knew nothing. So I think that
true.
Really broke down his self-confidence. And
it probably did. Yeah, all joking aside, yeah, it probably did break it down. But and then getting killed, that probably broke it down another level too.
Yeah. Look what happens when I try to lead people. They kill me.
They kill me. Yeah, and hey, hell, even my new girlfriend's probably tempted to kill me. This just isn't good. But she really did love his ass, though, didn't she? I mean, the way she embraced him, she trusted him. She did trust him. And, I had put a comment in here, too. I was talking about what Kit Harington said in his interview when he had talked, and the one word he described season 8, and it was disappointed. I mean, I think that's a pretty fair word, disappointed.
Accurate.
Yeah.
OG says, what was the point of the white horse with Arya? I have no idea. I have no idea.
They pointed out, and there's little things like that, right, that they always kind of show us a glimpse of, and then we're like, well, there's something about that, right? Nothing.
There was so I think the waif, or I don't remember her name, back in season 2 or 3, had mentioned something about beware of these things, and the pale mare was one of them.
Huh.
So I think maybe they just threw it in there because they're like, oh, yeah, we need a pale mare. I don't know. I thought it was more symbolistic, and we talked last week about...
Sure.
I thought it was maybe Arya kind of like reclaiming her house again and becoming a Stark, but then no, she sails off to...
No. And
she wants to be Christopher Columbus. I don't know.
Well, the way she was leading those people around trying to save them, I was like, hey, is Arya starting to realize that, hey, you are a Stark. It's in your blood. You know what I mean? But you're right. I just kind of faded right back to, no, I'm gonna be a loner and go. I mean, she could have protected her sister. I mean, hell, she could have even went with John. She loves John. I mean, maybe she doesn't like the cold. You know, I guess that's a hell of a deterrent. Do you like? Yeah, do you mind 20 below temperatures?
When they were talking about what they were going to do, I thought Arya was going to be going to Storm's End with Gendry.
Yeah, poor Gendry. Talk about getting your heart broken. It's a total win and total loss. Like I said in that one episode, he just bring me up just to knock me all the way back down.
She just hit it and quit it, man.
She did. Oh, and Brienne, I didn't get to mention her finishing Jaime's story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a cool scene.
We did miss it. That was kind of cool. Again, there were some cool scenes in here, and you notice she didn't get crazy. She as hard as it probably was for her. I'm sure she wanted to write some other things, but she wrote it.
Had a little dick. Had a little dick. He was a selfish lover.
And fought for his country, saving his queen with his little penis. Oh, God.
Yeah, that was a cool scene, though.
That was a good scene. Let's see here. I'm just trying to see. Jessica, I guess before it was like this. We get clues and we get the closure, but now we got the clues and nothing. Agreed, Jess. Agreed. Fully agreed. Stacy, Arya sailing west just like Alyssa Farman did in The Fire and Blood. She was the one who stole the 3 dragon eggs and turned out to be Dany's much later on. Whoa, that's weird. Let's do the time warp. Let's see here. No story is about the bad guys winning. True. I don't think any bad guys won in the end of this one. In fact, even if Dany won, I know she wasn't meant to be a bad guy, but she was on a mad craze of power, and she was willing to break the wheel and murder anybody and anyone who got in her way, and that's no bueno. No bueno. The sneaky guys win. Hey, let's face it, it is the Game of Thrones. That is the whole point. I know Jess mentioned something about Tyrion being tricksy again, to try and get Bran in there. Because of course Tyrion has ties to Sansa. He wants to see her do well and stuff. So, he kind of threw it out there. He's like, this is pretty much the best choice. Where I think people aren't going to be like, hell no. Because I guess if he would, at first I thought he was going to say Jon needs to come back, which I guess he wouldn't. But I was really hoping he was just going to say, I say Jon Snow. But then
the prisoner declares the other prisoner king.
They would have been like, what are you guys on? And please give me some of it before, somebody else says something stupid. Jon became the Queenslayer. Yes, he did. He's the new Jaime. But, he's gone, and I'd even wonder though, OG, with Sam as Grand Maester, I almost wonder if they would strict that from the history. I'm just wondering. I don't know. Of course he is, I don't know, bearer for detail and sticks to the truths of the world.
Tyrion wasn't mentioned, so.
Good point. Hey, by the way, who did they say wrote that book? That book about the Battle of the Bastards and how he came up with there was somebody, right? It wasn't Sam, though, right?
No, it wasn't Sam. It was somebody else because he said he helped him. I don't remember who he referenced. Maybe Stacy knows or somebody.
Yeah, Stacy or somebody. Knows. If you guys can tell us the name of the person who wrote that book, A Song of Fire and Ice, except of course Sam gave it the title. How clever.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's clever writing. Let's see here. But anyways, we'll see if they answered back to that in a second. But yeah, it was interesting. They didn't mention Tyrion's name, which he looked disappointed. But then I don't know. He kind of just brushed it off. So that was weird, kind of. I don't know. Was there some significance there?
It really felt like a comedy, like a sitcom there for a while during that whole round or that council discussion. It was. I laughed, like it was funny, but it just seemed so weird, like so strange.
And by that, you said Emily was shocked. I think Steph was such in shock. Like, my wife sitting on the couch, and I'm just sitting there, and I was just kind of like in shock because my mouth was just half open, kind of like, huh, what? Let me see here, Maester Yobos or something. Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about it. So, pretty much not gonna care who you are. Not gonna care who wrote this because Sam will probably just go back and rewrite it anyways. Even as a Raven, Bran is truly broken. God, that boy. I still call him Creepy Bran. That's what my buddy Pell called him, and I've stuck to it. He's still creepy, and he creeped the shit out of my wife too. She's like, man, he's just weird. He's just weird. I guess that's what happens when you get detached from pretty much humanity, but Just weird. It used to take a whole season to get through King's Landing, but they made it in 30 seconds. That was holy. Let me see here. It was sad, like not like GOT, something else, but not GOT. Agreed. Guys. Again, I'm not gonna just sit here for the next 10 minutes and bash the show. So getting to it, it was a ride. I'll just say that it was a ride, and we had hoped for some more, and we didn't fully get it. So we are stuck to digest this and think about it, and then hopefully some of the future spinoffs may shed some light on some of the things that would happen. Hell, maybe there's a future one who brings back John or something. Maybe he has epic adventures, or maybe there's just nothing. I don't know. I'm probably leaning towards the
Probably
back half.
not.
I'm gonna lean towards the nothing. But I mean, a boy can hope. So as can everybody else. With that said, hey guys, if you enjoyed some of this content or just our little bash, I don't know how much more live stuff we're doing. I mean, we're gonna go back here and there. We're not going to obviously talk Game of Thrones because no more episodes to talk. But there is an awesome show out there right now, Chernobyl. It's on HBO. I reviewed it for a couple weeks, and the amount of comments I got back was just. It was just crazy. I mean, people are loving this show. Dustin finally jumped in on board.
Yeah,
I think
it's awesome.
I think he's going to try and join me tomorrow night. We're not going to go live. We're going to record, and then I'll just post it out there for you guys to view at your pleasure, because I know we're getting on here kind of late. But with that said, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We have a lot of things coming up. I have a Dead Nightmare zombie series out there. We are planning more episodes. I'm planning some other cool shorts too. It's taking forever to get done, but such is life when you have kids, a wife, a job, and everything else, because this is just a hobby. But all the same, I thank you all so much for coming out. Dustin, we're getting towards the end here. This is the time for the number. We must give the number.
Do we have to?
We got to do it. It's got it done. Fans, if you wish to start getting ready to place your rating for the show, Dustin, we said we'd do this. We said for the final show, we'd count off and we'd say it at the same time. Okay, so hold on. Okay, well, let's go. 5 seconds. Get your number, okay?
Got it.
Hold on. I'm thinking. Hold on. This is just the episode. This is not the season. Okay. Are we doing middle? Are we just doing a solid number? Or are we gonna do like point this or whatever, like a half
Whatever.
rating?
You can do a half. If you
Just
want.
whatever. Okay. All right. I'm ready. All right. We're gonna go. Wait, 3, 2, 1, or do you want to go like 3, 2, 1? Say it. All right.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, say
3,
it.
2, 1. Say it. Okay. Lethal Weapon style.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
4.
5.5.
4. Oh, OG said 5.5 too. You guys were.
Gee, we're on it, man. We're on it, baby. I'm not seeing enough numbers, boys. Keep it going, and gals. 6, 4.
John
4.5.
says, "I say again, Bran already knows your rating." Yeah, 4. It's a hard 4 for me, just like Jamie.
I mean, look at all this. Oh, my sister gave it a 6. Appel gives it a 4. He's on board with you. John's a 6, just slightly above me. Connor, just below me at a 5.
We're all pretty close, I'd say.
So you know what, and that's good news, guys. That means we're not crazy. We all experience this very similarly, right? So
Yeah, and I agree with Yasi. He says, "I don't think this finale defines the whole show and story. Absolutely not."
No, absolutely not. And if we,
I've had a lot of, I've had a lot of enjoyment out of the show.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't go back on all those good times and write it off for just, 4 or 5 episodes of poor writing. And by the way, not all of it was poor. Like I said, just rushed. But you're right. Absolutely not. And so that's not 5.5 for, or 4 for that matter, for Game of Thrones. And in fact, we may come back, like I said, later this week, if Dustin's feeling up to it, and I am too, we may come back and just give an overall. Maybe we'll just give one last session. Who knows?
Connor's asking, will you guys do an alternate ending video so we can continue these discussions? I think that's something we could do.
Yeah. I mean, I
talk about like kind of what we would want to see.
What we want out of it?
Yeah.
So we can either come back next Monday night. So tell you what, I will try and get an event out there, and I will time it so that way if you are subscribed to the channel and have that little alert button, you should see it, okay? And you'll even have a countdown timer. I think you put out as far as you want. So that way you guys will have ample time to know. I won't do it just a couple hours before. I'll get out there at least a day minimum before it's going to happen. And let's come back out and talk and just join back up and let our emotions settle and see if we're all still where we are. And not to mention, let's give the interwebs a chance to react to this, guys, because, like I said, people are going to riot. You think we're bad? You think we're all bashing this?
Yeah.
This is a pity party, if anything, for this show. These people are
We've been generous.
They are going to massacre this show. They're going to massacre it. Just wait till it unfolds. So don't expect a video from us. In fact, I got to travel early in the week, but don't expect it to us until at least towards the end of the week, probably. But
I'm traveling this week too. So.
Yeah, so but we're gonna get back to you all. Let's come back. We made some cool friends here. I consider you guys part of the ZMAM family, even if you haven't. I call it the ZMAM fam. you see nice. What I did there? It rhymes.
Trademark, hashtag, copyright can't be used without the legal written consent of ZMAM show.
Hashtag copyright 2019, all rights reserved. So thanks, Jessica, for coming out. Yesy, thanks for coming out.
I would even say, too, if you guys have other shows that you think we should look into, you could always hit Mike up. He's got his contact stuff below his frame there.
I do.
I know Twitter is probably the easiest for me at dshelt42. Mike's got his Twitter handle down there. So
I think I have yours in there, too, and if I don't, I'm going to re-add it. I had it in most of them, but I've been copying a few of the comments, so I may have missed it. So I'll add Dustin's info. Again, if you like seeing cool shots of zombie pictures and different kind of arts and formats, you can follow me at the Instagram account at Shillin128. And thanks, Jamie, for coming out. I finally get a chance to see this. Holy, thanks for coming out and commenting, as dirty as some of these may have been, but especially that last one. I'm not gonna repeat it.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah,
but,
I like that.
Jessica does prefer the Dragon Lords of ZMAM. Copyright Dragon Lords of ZMAM. Hashtag 2019.
Get that trademark.
So, guys, thank you so much for joining on and making this an interactive show. It really is amazing.
Yeah.
I know Dustin's loved it. We were finally trying to figure out this whole friggin' Skyping and making us be able to do this at the same time, because Dustin's a busy man as well. So, Yazzie says, please come back next week for Six Kingdoms. Okay. Okay, will do. Connor, thanks, guys. It's been a good 3 episodes with you. Yes, absolutely, guys. So, I'm going to go ahead and end it off. We've already been streaming too long, so... Guys, this is Mike Schilling and Dustin Shelton with the ZMAM Show, and we will come back to you very soon with some more content.
Later.
Maybe if I can click the button right. This thing isn't working. And we're clear. Actually, we're not clear. We're going to be clear in a second. Now we're clear. Well, this thing just doesn't want to stop. I really hope I really hope they can still keep hearing us if they come back to watch. Yes, stop recording, you piece of